Since 1973, the Augusta Heritage Center of Davis and Elkins College has played host to a multi-week intensive workshop series that has attracted hundreds of participants annually. Each summer, from the beautiful campus of Davis and Elkins College in scenic Elkins, West Virginia, the Augusta Heritage Center offers music and dance classes in the form of theme weeks: Cajun Creole Week, Classic Country Week, Blues and Swing Week, Bluegrass Week, Old Time Week, Vocal Week, and October Old Time Week. Each theme week is offered concurrently with craft, arts, and folklore classes.
I'm gonna lay down my old guitar. Gonna lay down my old guitar. Well, I wish I could tie it to my side. Take it away from me. Go ahead, Joe.
In this episode, we'll focus on Blues and Swing Week, a week that explores traditional acoustic blues and jug band music, along with related cultural dance forms. I'm joined by co-coordinators Joan Fenton and Phil Wiggins, and we'll be featuring music from previous Augusta concerts, along with selections from upcoming Blues Week instructors and archival recordings housed within the Augusta collection.
Sick and alone today. I'm sick and alone today. I'm a long way from home, got so far to roam. Sick and alone today. Do it a couple times here.
My name is Ben Townsend, and on behalf of all the great folks here at the Augusta Heritage Center, I'd like to thank you for tuning into this podcast we've decided to name Passing It On. We're excited to pass these great tunes and stories on to you. We look forward to seeing you all this summer, and we hope you'll pass the word about this podcast series and about our workshops on to a friend or two.
Okay, well, you're talking to Phil Wiggins. My position right now is I'm the co-artistic director. Well, So Joan Fenton and I are collaborating as artistic directors.
My name is Joan Fenton, and in 1983, I was asked to start a blues program as part of the Augusta Heritage Workshop, and Marga Blevin was the director, and she called and said that they would like to do the blues program, and I had asked for several years if they would do that. I had attended Augusta previously for a couple classes, and always thought it'd be really nice to do a blues program.
Well, my vision is to try to bring it back to the original focus of the Blues Week, anyway, which is country blues, acoustic blues, and I guess mainly in the beginning it was like focusing on the Piedmont style or the Piedmont region. Which is, as you know, right close to the Appalachian region. And the other thing that I'm excited about doing is, realizing that probably every note of music that I've ever played in my life has been dance music, and that rarely is it presented, as such, or presented with dance. And so, beginning with last year, and hopefully we will continue to reconnect the dance music with the dance. And I play harmonica, and I'll be teaching some harmonica, I guess, but I'm not teaching like a harmonica class. I'm teaching in collaboration with Ben Hunter and Joe Siemens. I'm teaching a string band, jug band class, and also accompanying dancers.
You want me to go back into what my background is? You want me to just explain?
That would be great, yeah.
Okay. So I grew up in New York City. I went to University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. And there was a guy by the name of Jerry Ricks who I met. And he was like the person that all the old masters, when they came to Philadelphia, would come stay with him, hang out with him. So Skip James, Son House, Joseph Spence, anybody you knew in the world of blues, he knew them all. And that summer, I saw someplace that Reverend Gary Davis was going to be performing in typical teenage girl voice. I went, "Oh, Reverend Gary Davis." And this guy says to me, "Oh, I'm his driver. I could take you to meet him." And I said, "Okay, how about tomorrow?"
Wow.
So I ended up going out with the guy, but I also got to meet Gary Davis. And Gary did this thing where he would give you guitar lessons for $5. He lived down in Queens. You'd go out, and you'd end up spending the day. And he would have, people would stop in or stop, sometimes they'd just come for a lesson, sometimes they'd sit there all day. And his wife would be there, and he'd be there. And I started going out like once a week, every week for the whole summer. And that really got me going. So I had learned some from Jerry, and then hanging out with Gary was like, oh, my goodness.
Is there a song in particular that you remember early on catching you that you learned from him, or that really is a moment you had?
Well, the song for me is always Candyman, which I had heard somebody in at school at Penn playing, and it was just like, I have to learn that song. I thought it was the most amazing song I'd ever heard. And then when I found out it was Reverend Gary Davis, and I learned it a little bit from Jerry Ricks, and then going to meet Gary and learning it was incredible.
Candyman, Indian God. Candyman, Indian God. Candyman, Indian God. I give everything in the God Almighty world. Get my Candyman home. Candyman, soul of God. Candyman, and the clothes. Sitting in the hall, and can't be my Candyman, can't be my man at all. Been and go, been and go. Candyman, soul dog. Oh, we went down to the candy stand, she got stuck on the Candyman. Big leg eye, big leg eye, big leg eye, big leg eye, big leg eye. I love that big leg gal of mine. I know that. Baby some bear, run and get the picture, get the baby some bear, run and get the picture, get the baby some bear. You gonna get drunk when you get the baby some bear, run and get the picture, get the baby some bear. I give everything really got a mighty word. I get my Candyman home. And that's what's come out, people that's having fits that day. That's come out in 1905. Everybody you see with a guitar trying to play Candyman,
Who'd you first hear it from?
Huh?
Who was the first person you heard?
Come out with a carnival show.
And Phil, how about you? Can you tell us a little bit about your musical background and your history as a performer?
Well, let's see. I started trying to actually make real music on the harmonica when I was in high school. When I was about maybe 17 or so, and I met Flora Moulton, who was a street musician in Washington, D.C., and she was from she was from Louisa County, Virginia, and she came to D.C. She was a blind street musician, and I met her. I'd actually pretty much known her ever since I can remember as a fixture on the street in Washington. But as I started trying to learn music, a friend of mine took me to her house, and we met, and we did some playing together. And then she invited me to come and join her at the Smithsonian Folklife Festival.
Oh, cool.
So I did that with her for several years.
Enemy cannot harm you. You better. Your close friend. Your enemy cannot harm you. You better watch your close friend. When the soldiers after Jesus, they could not get to him. They made a plot with Judas, who Christ took for his friend. Your close friend. Your enemy cannot harm you. You better. Your close friend. Your enemy cannot harm you. You better watch your clothes. Well, when they're getting your secret, they laugh like they are glad. Never say anything about it.
Yeah, so that's how I got started. And at that festival, I eventually met John Cephas, who came there with a group that was led by Chief Ellis, piano player Chief Ellis. And so it was John and Chief and a bass player named James Bellamy. And after I met them at the festival and we did some jamming together, they invited me to join that group. And I did that. And then after playing with them for a while, Chief Ellis moved back to Birmingham, Alabama. Well, actually to Titusville, Alabama, which is where my family is from. And he went back there, and he passed away. And then John asked me to join him on some duo gigs, and that's kind of how we got started.
And you played with him for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I played with him for over 30 years.
Wow.
Speaking of John Cephas, John has become like the #1 ambassador of the Piedmont Blues. He was first influenced by an aunt who played guitar, and then he sang gospel in his early days. But eventually he established himself as a bluesman playing with Big Chief Ellis. He was granted the National Heritage Fellowship Award in 1989 for preserving the music of the Piedmont.
How many of you have never heard John and Phil? Okay, you're in for the treat of your lives. I heard them 10 years ago for the first time when I came to Augusta, and I followed them ever since, and we've become friends. And the thing the two of them have in common is, first of all, they throw great parties, they make great food, they know how to share their libations, they love to teach. That's why they're here. They've been here for more than 15 years. They not only come out from the East Coast and West Virginia, but they go out to the West Coast as well. I talked with Phil a while ago, and I asked him, what do you want us to say about you? And he said, at Augusta, it's one of my favorite places to play. There's a great audience, and there's great sound. So give yourselves a big hand. You and all the sound folk. And give a big hand, as much as you can give, to Phil and John. We're going to bring them out. Cephas and Wiggins.
Then I am going to the river, boat and drown. Then I'm going to the river, jump overboard she left me, you know I hung my head and I cried. And when she left me, Lord, I hung my head and I cried. Lord, I felt so bad. Lord, I thought that I would die. And if you see my mother, tell her this for me. And you see my mother, oh, tell her this for me. That I'm tired of living. I've been living in misery. That's why I'm going down to that river. Oh, and drown. Then I'm going to the river. Oh, and drown. For you know the woman that I love, she done put me down.
Thank you. Ann Rapson.
Can you tell me a little bit just about how you started with Augusta, and maybe like give me just a brief history of when you came here the first time?
Well, the very first year that I was invited, Joan asked John Jackson if he could recommend a harmonica player. I believe that's how it went. And John Jackson recommended me because I knew him from when I was in high school. You know, I met him in Alexandria, Virginia, and I wound up going to his house quite a few times. Got to be friends with his sons, and I used to go over there and play baseball with him, and got to be friends with him. And so when Joan asked him, he recommended me for that.
And what year was that?
Oh, I don't remember. It was very early 80s, I would guess, or maybe even, very early 80s.
Is there a particular number of his that he might be known for, or that you really remember him playing?
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm pretty sure about the only song that he wrote is a song called Boats Up the River. And it's a beautiful and really dreamy song, and it's one of my favorite ones that he does. It's called Boats Up the River.
Well, how's everybody with all this saying, huh? I tried tuning this guitar last week, and I don't know why it ain't in tune this way. Play you another John Jackson song. I know you meet the fella. Yes, I'm a song. This be one by Boats Up the River. Boats up the river, and it won't come down. I bleed my soul, babe, I'm water bound. Oh, ain't that a shame? I am to blame. And I wonder if my purpose on that train. I'm gone away to leave this country. I'm gone away to leave all alone. Oh, ain't that a shame? I'll be some old rainy day after a while. Both that river and it won't come down. I'll keep my soul, babe, be water bound. Oh, ain't that a shame? I am to blame. And I wonder if my love is on that train. Both that river and it won't come down. I bleed my soul, babe, I'm water bound. Oh, ain't that a shame? I am to blame. I'll be some old rainy day after a while.
So, Joan, how did you start coming to Augusta before there was a Blues Week?
Well, I met a guy by the name of Paul Reisler who was teaching instrument building, and Paul wanted to do some sort of band or something, and so he talked me into coming and taking instrument building, a class for which I had no skill, was totally underprepared, and I had the best time of my life. So there were 6 of us up there. There was a guy named Tony Norris, me, one of the people who ended up, this other woman, Sylvia, I guess, who Paul and I and Sylvia ended up making a band afterwards, and a couple other people. And we just had, I think we did it for 2 weeks and had just the most incredible time. And so after that, I'd come up once in a while for a class. They'd have a class with somebody that I thought might be, interesting. It didn't have to be blues, but I would always say to Margot, hey, why don't you do a blues class or something? So it was just sort of all of a sudden they felt like this was the time to do it. So.
And when was the first year that you came?
The first year that I came was 1974.
1974. And have you been every year since?
That was when I took the class. But the first year that I did Blues Week was 83, and I've been every year except one when I had surgery.
Wow, that's quite a history. So, Phil, can you tell me a little bit about your hiring process and tell me a little bit about some of the people that you're bringing as instructors this year?
A lot of the kind of older tradition bearers, John Jackson, Chief Ellis, John Cephas, they've all passed away,
You're right.
And I'm finding now that there are all these young guys that are old souls, old spirits, and like Jerron Paxton.
Yeah.
And this year we got this guy, Juntavius Willis, coming. And I'm real excited to have him. He's kind of one of these, a young guy with an old spirit.
Okay.
And I don't think he's ever done one of these Blues Week similar type seminars before, and I'm just really excited to have him.
How I got over, how I got over, you know my soul looked back
who tried, and I come to tribulation. You know my soul look back and but as soon as my feet strike Zion, I get my robe in glory. I'm gonna tell my Christian story. I've been climbing over a hill and mountain. We gonna drink from that healing fountain. It will always be a howdy, howdy. It will always be a howdy, howdy. It will always be howdy, howdy, Lord.
Blues Week camps, they're kind of a strange and almost unnatural environment. You know, they don't really exist in nature. You know, and so if you have a generous spirit, that's like 90% of it. You know?
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
you get in there and you try to navigate it, and then after a few years, you hit your stride. You know, and that's what I love giving these young guys that have never done this the opportunity to witness it and to enjoy it, because it's a great affirmation for us. I mean, it really helps us to feel appreciated, and gives us, you know, inspiration to carry on. Who else? I mean, I know I'm forgetting people because so many of them are amazing. Samuel James, he's a young guy, and he's a great acoustic player, and he's really like yanking this acoustic country blues into the future. You know, I mean, it's just real. You know, got that real young energy, and he's doing like really kind of different. You know, like I say, he's just really bringing it into the present and into the future. You know,
absolutely.
And I think that's important. You know, I think it's important. You know, I mean, I think it's great that people have respect when they go back and they mind the tradition, but also I think that the thing that's really going to help it to survive is the people that you know, take that inspiration and innovate and you know, bring it forward. You know.
Phil, is there anyone coming on staff this year that started out as a student at Augusta?
Arthur Migliazza is a great example of that. I mean, he had a teacher that lived in the D.C. area, Judy Louise Watson, and she told him about Augusta. He came, I don't know, I think maybe he was like 9 years old when he came.
Oh, wow.
And now, I mean, the other night, he absolutely destroyed a piano at this at this gig that we did in Detroit. Yeah. So he started as a student.
I also got a lot of my education here. I started coming when I was 10 years old, and I also have CDs for sale for $12.
The people that start there, I mean, not only do they get a good foundation of music, but they get to be around people like John Jackson, for example, who's like a world-class musician, but one of the most generous and down-to-earth and humble people that you would ever want to meet. And that gets passed on to these young prodigies, in the sense that they don't get because a lot of times like someone that is like extremely talented at a young age, they'll have a big attitude, and I think Arthur and a lot of other people that I know that got their start at Augusta, they're carrying on this thing of just generosity and humbleness and down to earth that I think is important. Yeah.
That was my case coming over from rock and roll as a young kid and kind of experiencing this for the first time. And I really looked up to Dave Bing, and he was kind of my hero. And then eventually, through the apprenticeship program and everything, he became my mentor and is now one of my best friends. And it just goes to show that, some of the best musicians in the world are some of the most humble people you'll ever meet in this whole world of, flashy rock and roll nonsense. Just doesn't cut it.
True. Yeah.
John, we've been talking about your work with the Blues Week workshops and your affiliation as coordinator, and we've been talking to Phil about folks he's got coming up as instructors and some of his history with Augusta. But another thing we want to talk about today on this podcast are the recordings housed in the Augusta collection. And you've actually made a pretty considerable contribution to the Augusta collection with recordings you made, I think, in the 70s. In southern West Virginia. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
There's a couple interesting things. I had in the, when was it? In 1974 or 5, I had lived with the folks at Rounder Records. And we wanted to do a recording of Oscar and Eugene Wright, who were a fiddler and guitar player from over near Princeton. And I did a recording with them, and because I played blues 3 of the songs on that recording are them playing blues tunes, which is really interesting. So they did a Bessie Smith tune and an Ida Cox tune, and I think there was one other on there. Just because when I would sit and jam with them, we would play some blues tunes that they had heard on record.
Oh, that's cool. So you would kind of request that?
I didn't request it. It was just sort of because I was playing blues, they brought out these songs that they knew. And then there were 2 women that lived near Helvetia.
Really?
Yeah, Donna Gum.
Oh, and Zona Gear.
Right? Oh, they were hysterical. They were just laughing so hard. They were so cute.
I wanted to ask you about, growing up.
Oh, I had a wonderful life of growing up. Boyfriends with a flaw.
You're lying to me left and right.
And our entertainment was boat riding and horseback riding. That's about all the entertainment we had.
Who in your family played music?
My sister played music, and both of my sisters played music. I play music a little bit.
What do you play?
Oh, banjo.
I'm going to have to get you to do it.
And when I recorded them, again, because I played blues, they did a version of Hesitation Blues for me. They were giggling the whole time and singing the lyrics, and they were laughing, and they had the best time. So that should be in the archive as well.
Sing what you know of that, and you sing what you know of it, and I'll sing this part of it too. That go ahead, Lonnie.
Oh, I'll go get the phone. You guys sing.
Must hesitate.
Oh, we fortune hanging on the line. Beans are drunk and let's go blind.
Tell me how long have we got to wait? Can I get you now? Must hesitate.
When you go down, you go for fun. If you can't fight, you better run. Tell me how long we got to wait. Can I get you now? Must hesitate.
Went to the river and I couldn't get across, but I jumped on a bullfrog, rode him to the bank. Tell me how long have I got to wait? Can I get you now? Must I hesitate? Born in Alabama, raised in Tennessee, the red-headed band made a fool out of me. Tell me how long have I got to wait? Can I get you now? Must I hesitate?
I ain't been to heaven, but I've been told the first class city in the streets is gold. Tell me how long have I got to wait? Can I get you now? Must I hesitate? Hesitating stocking and a hesitating shoe. Believe to my soul, got the hesitating blues. Tell me how long have I got to wait? Can I get you now? Must I hesitate?
Sing it to the lesson. I know more of it, but I can't think
play
of it
that
just
back,
now.
I won't hear.
You know, I've just played back and forth, me and you singing.
And how about, can you tell me anything about the Carper family? I found those recordings while I was working with this collection and just found them fascinating.
That was the black church music? Or was that?
Yeah, and then there's like maybe a long reel of an interview with Fred Carper, who
Okay,
seems to be kind of the patriarch
Okay,
of the gang.
so I met them through the person that was running the John Henry Festival at that time, whose name will come back to me in a minute. And they were outside of Princeton, up in the mountains. You know, you had to go up a ways. It was really off the beaten track. And there was a church that the whole family played at, and it was just a little country church. And the whole family was living in that area. And
what, like big family, big service, or just a small?
There were probably like 5 or 6 people playing music, but he was the guitar player, and he just seemed to be the real leader of the group. And I don't know if you're aware, but on commercial recordings, as far as I knew, there were never any black musicians who recorded blues from West Virginia. There was a very famous musician by the name of Frank Hutchinson from over in Huntington who was white, who recorded extensively. There was a man by the name of Dick Justice and a couple other people, but none of the blues musicians ever recorded. But during my field work and some of the other things that I worked on, I had met several blues musicians and knew that there was a strong tradition in the state.
Try something just to see how it works out.
So this is a recording of Fred Carper playing that I grabbed from Jones' recordings that are housed in the Augusta collection.
So many days, so many nights, I cried. I needed you, but someday, baby, I ain't gonna wear my life over you no more. You've heard my story, you've heard my song. Goodbye, baby, goodbye so long. But someday, baby, I ain't gonna wear my life over you no more.
We talk a lot around the camp about your Augusta story, or just kind of an anecdote that's personal to you that kind of showcases why you keep coming back, or tells about a life-changing event that happened to you at Augusta. Phil, do you have an Augusta story of your own?
Oh, well, that's hard because there's so many, and it's so. But I mean, I will say that really probably the main reason that I kept coming back all these years was because of the people that actually live in Elkins, and the hospitality and the generosity of the local people that I got to be very good friends with there. There was a well, I don't know if I should name names, but I made some really good friends there, and people there really like kind of gave me the key to the city, if you want to say that. I mean, and really that's the main reason why I come back. Like there's a group of women that they call the Elkins Blues Week Women's Auxiliary that that really dove in there because we used to do a barbecue and all, and they really dove in and worked hard to make that thing happen. And I mean everything, just from like being backstage during the staff concert, and a knock would come on the back door and somebody would pass us some really nice refreshments and you know, things like that. I mean, it's really that, of course, and the opportunity to spend the week with some amazing musicians, just like nonstop music all day and all night. You know, that's the other thing. You know, I've been writing songs for the whole over 30 years that I was playing with John, and Augusta was one of the main places where I would air those songs out and try them out, and a lot of my original songs got finished there.
Wow.
So
this place really stands out even amongst other camps and other venues and.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I can really only think of one other one that sort of compares to Augusta, which is the Centrum Blues Week out in Port Townsend, Washington.
Wow, I don't know about that one.
So, yeah, it's great. It's the visionary out there is a guy, Peter McCracken, he's sort of kind of backed off on running the whole thing, but it was his original vision, and it was very, very similar to Augusta, but also very, very different. But both of them, I mean, the thing about Augusta for me, I mean, we bring some incredible teachers, and so what happens in the classroom is top quality. But it's always been, for me, the thing that I value most is what happens in the wee hours and outside the class, the jamming and collaborating and stuff. And I think that's where most people learn the most, you know. And so for me, it's not so much like a school of music as it is just like a celebration of the culture.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's my focus. That's what I try to bring to it now. You know, like I say, we get some of the best teachers in the world to come there and teach, but they also are just great musicians and love music and will sit up all night jamming, and whoever shows up, whatever level, they're all welcome to join in. And I think that's the most
great.
valuable thing that happens. Yeah.
So these are a few segments of jams during Blues Week at Augusta. The first one is an instructor jam at a dance in a pavilion. And the second one is kind of instructor and student jam down at the Ice House that used to be the bar on campus of Davis and Elkins. And it actually features a local saxophone player named Rob Maston. And how about for you, Joan? Is there a specific moment that sticks out to you as your own personal Augusta story?
Well, one of my best memories was sitting with John Cephas and one other person who was a student. And John, at that point, played like one Skip James tune and maybe one Reverend Gary Davis tune. And I taught him a Skip James tune and the Reverend Gary Davis tune, and he taught me the Skip James tune and the Reverend Gary Davis tune that he did. And it was just this most magical thing. And then I just learned the song he taught me. He came back the next year, and he had learned 5 Skip James tunes, and he all of a sudden became the master of it. And I was like going, yeah, that's the difference between him and me, He just took it and ran with it because everybody loved that sound so much.
Sure.
And it was but it was so magical sitting in this room with him and doing it, playing. That was one of my favorite experiences.
That's great.
I'm going to tell you my two favorite memories. One was we would always close the concert with John Cephas and Phil Wiggins. And one night, the alarm for the building went off. And nobody could find the guy with the key to turn it off. He was not there. And it just kept going, and finally, they started singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat to the sound of that alarm. It was just incredible. It was just an incredible moment.
Well, unfortunately, I couldn't find a copy of that in the archives right offhand, but I did find a great copy of a tune called Fool's Night Out that Phil wrote here at Augusta, and I'm going to close the show with his original number, Fool's Night Out.
Okay, we're gonna call on Phil. He'll do one for you. As a matter of fact, Phil wrote the song.
Yeah, this song is really about my whole experience at Augusta. It's called Fool's Night Out. No, it's a song about just getting out and celebrating, having a good time, and there's that old saying that when the moon is full, they say it's Fool's Night Out, and it's some of those full moon nights here at Augusta that totally changed my life, caused me to write this song too, and. So when we sing it, the chorus is, well, it's Fool's Night Out, and it's pretty obvious and real repetitive, so you'll catch on to it pretty quick, all right? And so when you hear us sing it, I want you to answer back, sing back at us, okay? Just the same way we sang it to you. All right, here we go. I said, man in the moon, what on earth are you smiling about? Said, man in the moon, what on earth are you smiling about? Well, he's laughing and he's smiling, cause he knows that it's Fool's Night Out. Here we go now. Well, it's Fool's Night Out. You sing it. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Come on. Fool's Night Out. Well, it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. You sing it. Fool's Night Out. I said, man in the moon, what on earth are you smiling about? Get out in the moonlight and shake it like you just don't care. Come on, shake it now. Get out in the moonlight and shake it like you just don't care. You get up Monday morning, dog eat dog will still be there. Well, it's Fool's Night Out.
Everybody.
Fool's Night Out. It's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. Well, it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said, man in the moon, what on earth are you smiling about? You got it, John.
Thanks to everyone out there for listening, and thanks to Joan Fenton and Phil Wiggins for sharing their time and their stories. We look forward to seeing you all this summer at the Augusta Heritage Center of Davis and Elkins College in scenic Elkins, West Virginia. This show was produced by me, Ben Townsend. To find out more about this podcast or about our workshop series, visit our website at www.augustaheritagecenter.org.
It must be crazy as a moon to be carrying all this weight. We must be crazy as a moon to be carrying all this weight. Howling at the moon and booging until the break of day. Come on, boogie down. Well, it's Fool's Night Out.
What y'all think?
Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. Well, it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said, man in the moon, what on earth are you smiling about? And I know the reason why. All right. Yes, my true love has me moonstruck, and I know the reason why. Because every time she smiles at me, she makes me holler me, oh my. Well, it's Fool's Night Out. Everybody. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out, well it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said it's Fool's Night Out. Fool's Night Out. I said, man in the moon, we know what you're smiling about. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Programs offered by the Augusta Heritage Center of Davis and Elkins College are presented with financial support from the West Virginia Division of Culture and History and the National Endowment for the Arts, with approval from the West Virginia Commission on the Arts.